Hey YouTube, thanks for tuning in. Received this small new Microcrawler 1/16 crawler some days ago, the new RGT 136.16.1, and in this video I will give a short review. I will take a close look inside the axles, inside the central transmission, check how well they are built. I will check the electronics and I will make some short drive tests. So if you are considering to buy this truck, then watch this video. When I saw this truck first on Banggood website, I thought, what is this? And the description on the website is really bad, and the price is not that cheap either. So it was 130 to 140 bucks. I guess actually it's on a flash sale, and I used some points. I paid 116 US dollars, still more than 100 euros, so not a real cheap truck. And the description has so many faults that I was curious what this is. I closely checked the description. First, what you also can see here, it comes nicely packed in a box and really securely packed. And on the website you see also this picture, and you see this blue truck with transparent front windows, working light bar, kind of plastic fenders, and seems like metal beadlock wheels. You won't get this truck. Then you see here a full cabin version that's not sold now, maybe it will come later, and you see those cars, which are the cars that are sold, but they are really ugly. And I'm happy to say, in real, the car and the body look much better than they do look on the website and on the pictures. But there are many more mistakes, faults in the description. In the description it says it's 1/10th. Okay, the headline says 1/16th. It's clear that it's not 1/10th. And it says it has a 17 kilogram servo. Never ever. It has a 17 gram servo. And there is nothing said about the electronics. It says the radio needs 2 AA batteries. What radio will need 2 AA batteries? Those are toy radios. It also says it comes with bearings, doesn't say ball bearings, and it does come with a metal drive shaft. So I was curious, and you could see a picture, or you can see a picture of the chassis without body on the website, and there is a strange receiver. This receiver has pins on both sides, and it reminded me immediately on this receiver. That's the DumboRC 6-channel receiver with integrated light controller. But you won't see the radio on the website. I don't know why they do this. And finally I thought probably it's a DumboRC radio that comes with this receiver. And even better, it doesn't come with a 2-in-1, so ESC and receiver in one unit. It does come with a separate ESC and a separate receiver, so it should be hobby grade. And I thought, okay, maybe this is an interesting car. And it said 25 amp Hobbywing ESC. Wow, really? So I finally bought this car. I don't really know why, but no, I'm not that unhappy. It's better than I had expected. It comes with a radio, of course, and as I had thought, it does come with this radio. And what is this radio? It's labeled RGT, but it looks extremely like the DumboRC X4. It doesn't have buttons here, but here, channel 3, channel 4, on off switch. And since I do have a DumboRC X4, check it out, it's the same radio. So probably it's a DumboRC, only a rebranded DumboRC radio. So we could check this easily. We can bind it to a DumboRC receiver. If it works, it's a DumboRC. So let's do this. I will bind it to this DumboRC X4 and check if it works. So did bind it, and check this out. Servo works with the RGT radio. So this radio is a DumboRC radio. Awesome. I don't know why Banggood does not tell this on the website. That's a huge plus. Those cheap DumboRC radios are really bang for the buck. They work awesome. And those receivers with integrated light controller also, they are really cool for people who do not want to mess around with light controllers and all this stuff. I don't know why Banggood doesn't tell us that the RGT crawler comes with such a fantastic radio. What else does the car come with? Unfortunately, with a nickel metal hydride, a simple battery with a Dean's plug and one of those super fast chargers. We'll do it for the beginning, but you will see later LiPo is no problem. And it does come with two nice manuals, with a manual for the radio, for the DumboRC radio, and this manual is of much better quality than the manuals that come with the original DumboRC radios if you buy them. And then it does come with a real nice manual for the car. That's only a kind of one big paper, so not a booklet, but it has exploded view of the car, of all parts, of the axles, of the motor. So wow, it has a list of spare parts. Thumbs up for such cheap cars. This is not usual. All spare parts are listed, exploded view, so you will be able to reassemble all the parts after disassembling. Thumbs up. Not mentioned in the description. And you get some spare body clips, body posts, longer body posts, probably for the cabin version, and some of those rings to adjust the shocks. And the body is not that bad. To be honest, it looks much better than it looked on the website. It does come with a lot of plastic parts, with a plastic roll bar, luggage rack, plastic snorkel, and a hard plastic front grille with integrated lights, a lot of lights. I will show them to you later. The mirrors are foldable, so they won't break that easy. But everything else, like door handles, those are only stickers. This body reminds me on those bodies of the 1 to 24th crawlers. They also do not come with transparent windows, clear windows, but probably could cut them too and make clear windows. Then the body will look even better. But even as it is now, with those stickers, not that bad. Guess a lot more people would buy this car if the description wouldn't be that bad. And of course, there is no working light bar as the picture shows. This is only a sticker, but it does have working lights and a working light controller, so really quite awesome. And now let's take a closer look. Did already put batteries inside. Car's connected now, and what can you see? Working turning lights, and with the switch on channel 4 you can turn on headlights. Center position is kind of blinking mode, and right position, all lights on. Blinking, all lights off. And channel 3, hazard lights. That's quite nice for people who do not like to make their own light controllers. So there are on the back side only the turning lights, no rear light. And on the front side we have two white headlights and turning lights. And now let's take a look inside. You see the LEDs are connected to the receiver, and so you can't remove the body without unplugging the LEDs, what I will do now. Really quite tough quality. I think this body will hold up quite a lot of rollovers. But much more interesting, what I'm much more interested in, is inside. Here you can see it does come with a battery with DINS connectors. For sure I will not keep those DINS connectors. For sure I will not keep this battery. I will change to LiPos. That's a NEMH battery, 7.2 volt. So 6 tiny batteries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1100 milliamp hours. And here's the receiver, and the description says that's a Hobbywing receiver. So 25 amp, there's only one Hobbywing car receiver with 25 amp, and that's the 1625. And of course I do have this 1625, that's this Hobbywing receiver. Very nice receiver for small cars. The only downside is you can't turn off the brake function. 2 to 3S LiPos, and this receiver coming with the RGT crawler looks quite similar, but not exactly the same. Here you have those plugs where you can change from LiPo to NEMH mode. Now it's on NEMH mode. I will change it to LiPo mode, but there's not much more you can adjust. And here you can see the servo, and that is for sure not a 17 kilogram servo, that's a 17 gram servo, and for sure does not have 17 kilograms of torque. Here's the motor, a 370 motor, and the gearbox. This looks quite nice. Here's the receiver, the rebranded DumboRC receiver with box. Quite a lot of room and velcro for the battery. The shocks are partly plastic and partly made out of metal. And here's the drive shaft. This should be made out of metal, but it's not made out of metal at all, not even a part. This is plastic, plastic, plastic. The axle housings are made out of plastic too. Those front and rear covers, they look as if they would be made out of metal, but they are not. That's only the paint, but they look quite nice. And the tires are super soft, but they are not that sticky. They are kind of like the tires of the WPL C34, C44. The super soft WPL tires are much stickier, and there seems to be no foam inside. So I made a test run, a very short test run with the stock battery, and I will show this to you now. And then I will disassemble the car, the chassis, and we will check what gears are inside, if there are metal gears or everything's made out of plastic. The promised metal drive shaft is a fake, full plastic drive shaft. But let's check the short drive test first. So what you could see, the car has a lot of torque and a fantastic drag brake. Wow. So this was an incline of 47 degrees and the car stood still. So wow, really good drag brake, but the low speed control is horrible. And I can show this to you here again now. It's in reverse direction, it's even worse. It's extremely tough or hard to go slow. So as we are used from WL toys or whatever trucks, the cheap ones, the low speed control is horrible. Of course you can adjust dual rate to lower positions with the radio, but then you lose a lot of torque, so that's not a solution. So I'm quite disappointed about this. Such a fantastic drag brake and such a bad low speed behavior. That's a crawler. High speed I would estimate 7-8 kilometers per hour, for sure not 15 to 20 as the description said. Guess many of you want to know if the RGT 1 to 16th crawler, if the chassis will fit to the beautiful bodies of the WPL MN trucks. And here we have an MN90 and you can see the wheelbase is exactly the same. And here I have an MN45. It's a little bit modified, still not finished. Fits perfectly. WPL C34KM. Same, so that's the same wheelbase as all of those short WPL and MN trucks do have. The C44KM, however, does have a longer wheelbase. Let's check the MN90 body, which does have the interior inside. Well, will probably be difficult not to see those fenders here. Of course, you would have to adjust the rear shocks, use shorter shocks, remove the body posts. However, wheelbase fits perfectly. I hope you can see this on camera, guys. The ESC is labeled with Hobbywing WP1625. What would be the same ESC as this one is, but that's a quick run WP1625. However, this WP1625 coming with the RGT crawler does have no brake function, so only front reverse, what's called crawler mode in many ESCs nowadays. And the original WP1625 does not have this function, so this would be much better in the RGT Hobbywing ESC if the low speed control wouldn't be that bad. I will try to switch it out with this Hobbywing 1625 ESC and see if the low speed control is as bad as it is with the ESC coming with the RGT crawler. And I will disassemble the car now. Let's take a look at the shocks. Let's check the wheels, if WPL wheels will fit to this car. However, the wheels and other tires, they are quite nice if they wouldn't be that soft without foams, and of course they seem to be glued. I will disassemble the car now and then show you the parts. So the tires, no beadlock wheels, and you see glued to the plastic rims and unfortunately no 5mm hex, so you can't use WPL rims without any adapters. Those hexes, they are 12mm as in the larger cars. Normal 12mm hexes, what would be good, but the rims are really tiny, so 1.55 inch rims are far too large. Check it out here, those rims do have about 1.2 inch, and the tires are about 60 millimeters in diameter. So unfortunately I do have 1.55s here, but those are far too large, so the rims would fit to the hex, but they are too large, so it will not be that easy to upgrade rims and tires. Of course those hexes are made out of plastic. However, what we see here, ball bearings, that's nice. No bushings, ball bearings. All links are made out of plastic, quite flexible. Even the frame is made out of plastic, and those shock mounts, they are kind of integrated in the frame, so that's quite a bummer for modifications. So don't like this really. Plastic links, flex, plastic drive shaft. But let's come to some positive parts. There seem to be ball bearings all around, and the shocks, even if they are plastic with this kind of snap-on, they are oil filled, so probably possible to modify those. Check it out. There's the bladder and there is oil inside, and so far they are not leaking. Quite nice. Oil-filled shocks in such a small crawler. Thumbs up for this, and they feel quite okay. Of course it would have been much nicer if there would be some possibility to mount them with a screw, but we know this from many small cars. And here you have at least those metal bushings or whatever this is called for the screws. So shocks do feel quite nice. And now let's take a look inside of the rear. Wow! So inside the axles, check this out. Full metal gears, ball bearing, no grease, nearly no grease or no grease. I don't know, I will grease the gears, but those do really look sturdy. Wow, thumbs up for this. But quite a strange way of mounting the axles, and the axle housing is one piece here, and those shock holders are integrated. Here there seems to be, yes, metal ball ends. That's the first hex I find in the car. All the other screws were Phillips head screws, so that's not so nice here. If it breaks, it's broken. You can't repair the axle housing or mount different shock mounts, but inside this looks really nice, really sturdy, full metal gears. I hope I do it the right way now again. And with two screws here, which are quite hard to remove, I had to use a large screwdriver to remove those screws. Those ball bearings are mounted, and that way the axle shaft's held into place. Let's hope that the central gears are metal too. So thumbs up for this, but needs a little bit of grease. And a little bit of bearing oil, for sure not necessary. And the plastic cap. And 4 screws, and then the axle is mounted. Front axle. Same stuff, super nice and sturdy metal gears. And here there is a lot more grease inside. So they greased this. Ball bearings all around. Unfortunately no universal joint steering, but this dog bone style steering, the old type. So the steering angle is not really good, as you did already see in the test drive. We can check this later again. The servo links, everything made out of plastic, only the ball ends are made out of metal, and the servo, of course, plastic gear. And let's compare the size to a 17 gram servo, a JX PDI 1181 mg, if this would fit. Same size, so can probably be easily changed to a metal gear servo. 1181 metal gear, maybe the 1171 will fit too. It's a tiny little bit, the JX 1171 metal gear, it's a tiny little bit larger. No, it seems also to be a little bit too large, as in WPL trucks. So the JX 1181 mg metal gear servo should be a good upgrade servo, as it is for most WPL trucks, for those with the smaller servos. Central gearbox and motor. Nice sturdy gears, but no metal gears, plastic gears, and not greased at all. However, full ball bearings. The motor is a 370 gear motor, and here's the motor mount, and the gear is fixed mounted with a nasty large E-clip. Try to remove it, quite difficult, so don't wanna mess around with this. Motor looks good, plug looks very strange. I will immediately change the motor wires and the plug. Here's the gearbox, looks similar to those G-high motors we use for WPL trucks from size. This motor mount is only mounted to the motor with 2 screws. Those are hex screws, no Phillips head screws. And grease is missing. However, looks really sturdy compared to the plastic gearboxes of that WPL trucks. So I changed plugs now. I changed to XT30 plugs and use a LiPo battery and two Goldies. And check this out, guys. Now I use the Hobbywing 1625 that comes with the RGT crawler, and I try to power the motor as smooth as possible. That's forward. If I power up the motor, I can feel a knocking inside. And backwards. And if I would power up the motor faster. And now I will use this Hobbywing 1625. That's a Hobbywing ESC I bought separately. And now check this out. There is no knocking. I don't know if you could hear this before on camera. I can feel it, or I could feel it. This starts up so much smoother. Full power. So unfortunately there's a huge difference between the Hobbywing 1625 that comes with the RGT crawler and this Hobbywing 1625. Unfortunately, this Hobbywing 1625, the normal 1625 you can buy everywhere, does not have a crawler mode. That's the big downside, but it starts up so much smoother. That's quite a bummer for me. Let's change it again. Okay. I will make a test using the red Hobbywing 1625 ESC. It seems to start up much smoother, but doesn't have a crawler mode, and I will check if the drag brake is better with this, but so far I'm not really happy. And in reverse direction it's even worse than in forward direction. So I reassembled the chassis now, no problem at all, and I put a Velcro strap from a heli to the place where the battery should be located. There are two nice slits to do this, and I will test now the original WP1625 that comes with the RGT crawler. Here on the bench only slowly crawling some obstacles, and then I will put the original red WP1625 into the chassis, and we will see if there's a difference. I fear there's a lot of difference. and I will also check the drag brake behavior if it's influenced by the ESCs, and I will use a 2S LiPo for this. And after the crawling tests, I know you guys will ask, does it also run on 3S? So let's check it. At least the original WP1625 is for 2 and 3S LiPos, so probably this ESC, this 1625, should also work with 3S LiPos, and I will put this 3S LiPo and into the car and test it. But personally I won't run it on 3S later. It's already probably too fast now, and 3S again will be hell speed. So let's check it out now with the original, the black WP1625 that comes with the RGT crawler, and I will try to drive as smooth and slow as possible. It's really hard to power it up, to speed the car up slowly, because only with the slightest push or pull on the throttle trigger it tries to go up to start very fast, and in reverse direction that's even worse, to have control at low speed. That's as we know it from many small cars, for example from the WL Taurus 1 to 28. So seems to be quite okay, but it's really hard. It's no smooth driving, because if I push or pull the trigger a little bit too much, it will immediately speed up extremely. So no real good throttle control at low speed with the original black ESC, and now I will change to the red Hobbywing WP1625. And now let's test the aftermarket Hobbywing WP1625. I simply placed it on top of the stock ESC, and we will see how this one does. It's so much smoother. You probably won't be able to see it on camera, but I feel it. It's a huge difference. Never would be able to do this with the stock ESC. Check this out. That's really a pity that the Hobbywing ESC coming with this crawler and coming with the crawler mode is by far not the quality the original (1625) has. So of course I mainly feel it when pulling and pushing the trigger. You can't see it, but it's so much easier with this ESC than with the stock ESC. Hard to believe. And now let's check if the drag brake function is affected by the ESC. So now drag brake test on an incline, 45 degrees, 46 degrees, not very steep. And the upgrade or the aftermarket Hobbywing WP1625, the red ESC with the smooth startup behavior, is the first one. So crawling no problem, but nearly no drag brake. No drag brake at all. And reverse. Opa. So now backwards. No drag brake. And now I remove the red 1625 and use the original ESC that comes with this crawler again. And let's check it out. Startup behavior. And perfect drag brake. What a bummer. So awful startup behavior, awful low speed control, but fantastic drag brake. Now reverse direction, perfect drag brake. Wow, check this drag brake out. So this was a bummer, and that is quite a bummer. So much better low speed control, so much better controlling crawling, but no crawler mode. So this ESC does have brake function on, and this one crawler mode and awesome drag brake function, the WP1625, the black one that comes with the RGT crawler, but really awful low speed control, and in reverse direction even worse than in forward direction. And now let's check if this ESC is capable of 3S LiPo. Remove the 2S battery, and now 3S 1000 mAh SLS Extron, one of my Oxy 2 Heli LiPo batteries, and we will see if the ESC is capable to work with 3S. Okay, nothing seems to have broken. Lights work. No smoke, no heat. No problem, but probably too fast for this little crawler. It doesn't need any 3S LiPos, but if some of you would like to run it on 3S, I guess it's possible. It's not even warm, of course. This was no real test now, but for me it's okay. I wouldn't hesitate to use 3S if I would be in the mood to drive the car in hell speed. And finally, steering. Unfortunately, steering is not adjustable, so the linkage here, so it's a little bit, the tires are pointing a little bit outward, but steering bump is very, very little, so that's quite good. And the steering angle seems to be quite okay too. Let's test it with a high-tech tool. I'd say steering is about 40, maybe 38, 40 degrees. So not that bad for such a crawler with old dog bone style steering. Not awesome, but not that bad either. it's okay for this car. Would be really nice if the linkage would be adjustable, but probably one could make its own link from left to right steering knuckle. Did already see trucks with worse steering. And finally I bound the receiver to a 6-channel DumboRC radio, the X6P, and it works fine, so no problem. But this receiver seems to have 6 channels, at least it has pins for 6 channels, but channel 5 and channel 6 do not work. They show quite a strange behavior if you plug a servo into those. Check it out. The servo makes strange noise and no effect if I push the buttons of channel 5 and channel 6, and this seems not very healthy for the ESC. The bind button is, as always, here on the right side of the receiver on those DumboRC receivers, and here is the further button. I guess that's also for the light modes, as it is in the original DumboRC 6-channel receiver with light controller. So, no 6-channel receiver, unfortunately, but that's not that important. But works with DumboRC 6 channels radios, however, and with the X4. And check this out, guys. I played around with the lights on the receiver and the plugs a little bit. The crawler does not only have white front lights, 2 on each side, and orange turning lights. It does also have blue LEDs that surround the white center light. So that's quite a sophisticated mounting system for 4 LEDs on each side, and I did now connect it to probably to the brake light. So if I power it up, this will change. So when running it's lower, and stopping they burn with higher beam. Additionally to the white lights, I don't really like this, but I think it's quite cool, and I think some of you will like this stuff. So let's make light again. You can play around with the light controller. Check the DumboRC receiver with light controller. Here you have a button and can use different modes as in the Dumbo receiver with light controller. Quite cool stuff if one likes this. And such a lot of LEDs. More light. So inside, orange LED, white LED, white LED and blue LEDs which surround the center white beam. Cool. So final conclusion. I won't tell you that's the best crawler or the best micro crawler or the best 100-130 bucks crawler I've ever seen. You have to make your own decisions. There are really some strong points for this RGT crawler, and there are some downsides. For sure, the DumboRC X4 radio with the receiver with integrated light controller and the whole light system is a strong point for this crawler. The body doesn't look that bad. It looks much better in real than it does on the pictures on Banggood website. And front plastic grille, 8 LEDs in front, 2 LEDs in the back side, a working light controller, and it's real hobby grade. So a separate ESC and receiver, those are strong points for this car. Also the really strong motor and the fantastic drag brake. So the ESC is It's awesome because it does have a crawler mode and a really well working drag brake. But it's also bad because the low speed control or the low speed behavior is really not good. It's bad. It's easy to upgrade this crawler to LiPo. You can use 2 S LiPos and 3 S LiPos. What else does speak for this car? Price doesn't speak really for it, because you get WPL cars for much less, but the gears inside of the axles and also the central gears, they are much better, much stronger than WPL gears. So the axle housings are out of plastic, but the gears inside are really well made and seem to be extremely sturdy. Steering it's okay. All links are plastic, that's not good. Drive shaft is plastic, not metal as the description says. Even the frame is plastic. Shock mounts are integrated into the frame, that's a point against this car. Shocks are nice, oil filled, you can adjust them, you can play around with different types of oil. In my opinion, this car is better than I had expected, to be honest. It's really a hobby grade crawler, trail truck. Comes with a fantastic radio for such a ready to run car. Strong. The only real downside is the bad low speed behavior. Unfortunately, the DumboRC radios do not have an expo function, only dual rate, and with dual rate you cannot really improve this low speed behavior because you will lose a lot of power. So maybe changing to a better radio, I could change to my FlySky GT3C or my Noble, and using a lot of expo would improve the low speed behavior of this truck or of this Hobbywing 1625 Black ESC. I guess we can live with plastic links and even could upgrade them to metal. What's a pity is that WPL rims won't fit, because the rims and the axles use a 12mm hex, but that's on the other side quite sturdy. Tires are no plus and no minus. They are okay, they are super soft, not super grippy. There seem to be no foams inside and they are glued to the rims, so that's a big downside. However, for this money, is there a better crawler you can buy? Better micro crawler? I don't know. However, I won't tell you what to do. You have to make your decision. Is this car good? Is it bad? For me it's really okay, and with better low speed control it would even be fantastic. So if you are considering to buy this RGT 1/16 crawler, I hope I could help you to make your decision. What is this for? It's blue light. What does it do? It shines blue. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video. I'll be back.